Yo, what's up, guys? Quite the interesting hockey game tonight, but the Leafs find a way to beat the Ottawa Senators 7-5. Guys, really fun game tonight to watch. Now, obviously, some positives in this game, some negatives in this game. Obviously, scoring 7 goals is great, but obviously, giving up 5 goals is not great, of course. But you know what? Leafs get 2 points. That is the most important thing that we know, guys, that happened tonight. Now, obviously, we know that the Leafs hired assistant coach Steve Sullivan to replace Mark Savard, so we obviously got a chance to see the Leafs power play tonight. Went 2 for 3 tonight, which is obviously very positive to say the least, guys. You know, obviously on the first goal for the Maple Leafs, we saw it was on a power play goal with William Nylander being able to beat Linus Ullmark. Really nice goal by William Nylander, guys. Obviously, we know that William Nylander left the game early in the second period, unfortunately, due to a little bit of a mix-up in front of the net there. So, unfortunately, to see Willie leave the game early, guys, you know, scoring a really nice goal, giving the Leafs an early 1-0 lead. And then after we saw the Maple Leafs draw another penalty, of course, go on the power play again. Max Domi with a great pass to Matthew Knies, an absolute snipe by Knies, snapping his 9-game goalless drought. Absolutely massive that Knies gets off the Schneider and gets a goal, you know, and Steve Sullivan's tenure starts off great so far. You know, 2 for 2 on the power play. Everyone's probably thinking it was all Mark Savard's fault, right? So I'm just kidding about that. But you know what? Power play 2 for 2 so far to start. You know, things were looking solid for the Leafs. Now, obviously, Ottawa have a really good forecheck. You know, they pressed the Maple Leafs. You know, they were really making the Leafs' life difficult to get the puck out of their own end. Obviously, at times of that first period, I thought Ottawa was really breaking the Leafs' chops, making it very difficult for the Leafs to break out, guys. Enter the zone at times in this game. So Ottawa was doing a really good job of that. You know, they were able to cut the deficit down to 2-1 with a goal by Nick Cousins. So that wasn't obviously good to see, you know, going into intermission when you could have been up 2-0, you know, possibly up 3, because Austin Matthews had an opportunity just prior to that goal scored by Ottawa. You know, Matthews unfortunately missed the net off a rolling puck. It was a really tough shot because, like I mentioned, the puck was rolling a little bit, so he shot it wide, unfortunately. That would have been great for Matthews to get that goal there. A few years ago, we would have expected him to score that goal. Unfortunately, he didn't. Ottawa was able to cut the deficit down, and then they go into intermission, obviously. And coming out of the intermission, you know, I don't get Craig Berube why he has Morgan Rielly and Philip Myers out there. You know, we obviously know that Philip Myers is not a very good defenseman, and we obviously know Morgan Rielly is not a very good defenseman either, guys. But, you know, Berube puts them out there, and, you know, 20 seconds into the game, Drew finds really Greg on a fantastic bloody pass, you know, spectacular pass by Drew, but Philip Myers gets caught out of position. Greg's able to get inside position on him. Philip Myers is just brutal defensively, guys, in general, to say the least, and he does what he does. They're not able to get inside position, not able to get the puck off Greg. Knocks Joel Wall on the net. Obviously, it's called a goal, guys, you know, obviously after instant replay. Very frustrating moment, if you ask me, by Craig Berube to put those two out there, give up a goal 20 seconds into the period. That is unacceptable to be giving up a goal 20 seconds into the period, guys. You know, Ottawa's able to tie the game up. They start getting momentum a little bit, but luckily enough, Linus Ullmark had one of those nights tonight, guys. The Leafs, after that goal, my God, they were fantastic in the second period in the offensive end, guys. They were all over Ottawa, guys. They did a spectacular job. The Leafs had like 19 shots in that second period, outshooting Ottawa 19-9. I'm thinking to myself, my God, I don't recall the Leafs ever having 19 shots in a period. Matthews had 9 shots in general tonight. He was really shooting the puck a lot tonight. We obviously saw McMahon get another goal tonight, guys. 3 goals in 4 games after a squeak by Ullmark. We saw Matthews get a goal after getting that inside position on a Shabbat there, able to get the puck, get his stick in front of Shabbat by that split-second difference was massive by Matthews. He's always had a great stick and great hands there to make it 4-2 Leafs, and then Knies with a great play to Robertson to make it 5-2. And we're thinking to ourselves, holy shit, you know, this is what we want to see offensively by the Maple Leafs, dictating play in the offensive end, moving the puck, getting men in front of the net, taking shots, you know. It was a great second period. One of the best second periods I thought I've seen the Leafs play all year around, guys. You know, they were looking really, really solid. The Maple Leafs are up 5-2. You had ample opportunities. You know, Nylander had that chance in front of net there before he got hurt, unfortunately. There was multiple chances where the Leafs could have even made it 6-2 or 7-2 possibly. There was lots of opportunities, but Ottawa, listen, give them credit. They break balls. You know, they're a tough team. That Kachuk line was really chugging at times. Batherson, as we saw in the third period, once again, the Maple Leafs giving up another bloody early goal in the period. It's like, what the hell did this team talk about in intermission? Like, I know Ottawa was probably, Travis Green was probably pissed off at them for giving up 3 and answer like that, you know, but the Leafs, my God, they're sleeping every start of the period, for Christ's sakes, you know. That cannot go in, that goal by Batherson. Cannot go in. And then after, the Leafs have more breakdowns in their own end. Ottawa's hemming them in their own end. Too many times the first 6 minutes of the third period. Just unacceptable to me. Stützle is able to get a goal. They're beating Joel Wall to make it 5-4. And I'm thinking to myself, like, holy crap, man. This team here cannot defend the lead for their bloody life. But you know what? Listen, even though this team does frustrate us defensively at times, you know, giving up 2 straight goals like that, you know, I give the Leafs some credit, you know, not panicking, not giving up that tying goal. Matthew Nyes had a solid game tonight, guys. Great play by good old Morgan Riley to enter the zone, find Nyes in front of the net there. Nyes is able to deke the goalie there. Obviously, I forgot his bloody name, but they pulled Dolmark after the 4th goal, which was great to see. And then Nyes is able to deke the goalie, make it 6-4, give the Leafs a 2-goal insurance. And then, of course, the Maple Leafs said to themselves, oh, you know what? We want to keep this game a 1-goal game. Let's give Ottawa another goal there. So Ottawa makes it 6-5 with the goal by Spence. Listen, the Leafs broke down way too much tonight in their own end. Very frustrating a lot of times tonight. You cannot be giving up 5 goals if you want to be a playoff team. You know, even though the Leafs are not one right now, they haven't earned to be one right now. Guys, you know, these are the type of moments where I say to myself, this isn't playoff caliber hockey. It's just not, you know. But luckily enough, John Tavares was able to score an empty net goal, make it 7-5. The Leafs were able to close out this game tonight, guys. Thank God, you know, 2 vital points absolutely needed tonight by the Maple Leafs. If they had lost this game, man, this would have been another inconsistent situation for the Maple Leafs, thinking to ourselves, this team here just cannot get themselves on a consistent run of form. But guys, you know what? Even though they gave up 5, they had a lot of defensive issues tonight. Like I said at the beginning, you were able to get 2 points. Matthews, 3 points. I could have easily had a hat-trick tonight. Missed an empty net, missed that breakaway like I mentioned. He could have had an easy hat-trick and 2 assists. But he finishes the game off with 3 points tonight, guys. A goal and 2 assists. Same with Knights, 2 goals and an assist. McMahon, 3 goals in 4 games, like mentioned, a goal by him. How about Domi? 3 assists tonight. Really solid game by him. You know, that line with McMahon, Matthews, and Domi's looking pretty solid right now, guys. It's looking pretty good. And then you got a guy like Michelli, 4 points in 4 games. He's starting to find his game a little bit, but he does drive me nuts a little bit, you know, making some mistakes with the puck. You know, Sullivan wants him to control the power play a little bit, bringing the puck into the zone. He did screw up a few times. You know, that one moment there where he turned the puck over. Luckily enough, Ottawa didn't score on that opportunity he screwed up on. Robertson had a couple plays where he lost the puck in his own end. A couple of jitters, guys, in their own end tonight. And that's the frustrating thing, is thinking to ourselves, why the hell did you have so much difficulty getting the puck at your own end? And that's the problem with this D, is that you don't have a great puck-moving defenseman. You know, the Leafs some of the Leafs D is just not good, like a Phil Myers, who shouldn't even be on the Leafs, guys. You know, we got to give Benoit another shot. Maybe put Benoit with O'Reilly, with Stetcher, because I can't stand Phil Myers playing in the NHL, guys. I just can't. He's just not that good of an NHL defenseman, guys. He should not be in the NHL playing with Morgan Riley, if anything. That is just a detrimental pairing for the Maple Leafs, guys. But listen, some solid performances by some guys, but obviously the biggest concern is going to be William Nylander, lower body injury, I'm pretty sure it was. That's going to be a major concern. You know, you got some really important games coming up. You got to play Detroit next. If you lose Willie for an extended period of time, that is really going to hurt the Maple Leafs, guys, especially that the hole that they put themselves in. You know, you're at the bottom of the East right now. You need as many points as possible. And now if you lose William Nylander for the foreseeable future, that absolutely hurts the Maple Leafs, guys. So hope to God Willie's okay. I thought Joe Wall was spectacular tonight. Gave the Leafs a chance to win. The Leafs left them hanging on a few goals tonight. Some of those goals, he couldn't even see the bloody puck. So Joe Wall is not to blame for some of the goals tonight, guys. You know, some solid performances by some players that we needed a solid performance by, especially by a guy like Matthew Nyes. Matthews really stepped up tonight, guys. We need to see some more consistency from these guys, like Michelli, of course. Getting John Tavares, getting an empty net goal is huge for his confidence, guys. Seeing Tanev back, he will only get better as time progresses coming off that long injury. But there are some moments where you're saying to yourself, they got to cut this shit out. There were a lot of times where Ottawa had some great opportunities to take the lead, tie the game up. There were just too many moments where I said to myself, these things need to be fixed. You know, the power play looked good tonight at times, 2 for 3, like I said. Penalty kill's been the best in December in the NHL, guys, so that's been solid, even though Ottawa only had 1 power play. Leafs did a good job killing that off. So some positives in this game, guys, some negatives as well, but as long as the Leafs get the 2 points, continue to roll, find ways to knock off the bad habits, like giving up 5 goals a bloody game. If you can limit that, guys, some goals that were avoidable tonight, if you can cut that out of your game, the Leafs can continue to get points, try to climb up the standings, maybe find a way to get to a wild card or a top 3 division spot, guys. But let's see what happens in the next game against Detroit. They're at the top of the division right now. That's going to be a very difficult game, to say the least, guys. So let's see how the Leafs play in that game. So William Nylander is back for that game. If not, it's going to be very difficult for the Leafs. But guys are going to have to step up because you have to get as much points as possible, like I mentioned. But guys, tell me your thoughts and opinions on this game tonight by the Leafs and Senators. So click like if you like this video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Go Leafs, go as always, guys. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Leafs Unfiltered. Ciao, guys.